Hello there, welcome to saberduelgaming, where we always take the high ground. This month marks the 35-year anniversary of the Sega Mega Drive or Sega Genesis, depending on where in the world you are from. This 16-bit console was one of the most beloved in all of gaming history, and its games are still being played to this day. Many of the games are still being re-released, so it's clear just how loved these games were. So I've decided to celebrate this milestone by getting in touch with some of the best gaming YouTubers there is today, and I've asked them, what is your favourite Sega Mega Drive game of all time?
My favourite Sega Mega Drive game of all time is the original Sonic the Hedgehog. The nostalgia is very strong with this one, and I'll always remember that joy when a much younger me eventually defeated Dr. Robotnik. I recently returned to this title with Sonic Origins via the PlayStation 4, and the simple but brave and admirable animal liberation narrative against Robotnik, who sees the vulnerable beings as mere tools for his selfish ambitions, resonates more with me now as a vegan adult than even back then. Keep fighting that good fight, Blue Blur. Thanks for having me over, Saber, and have a good one.
My favourite Sega Mega Drive game of all time is Streets of Rage. Yeah, the original Streets of Rage, although there was a few fantastic sequels, this original one gives me some serious 16-bit nostalgia vibes. Whilst I never actually owned a Sega Mega Drive, one of my best friends did, and he would lend it to me fairly regularly, bit of a swap for the SNES, and this game, one we played together loads, was also the one I played most when I had the Mega Drive in my house. It is a fantastic example of 16-bit side-scrolling beat-em-ups, a massively underrated genre in modern gaming. There's so much to love about this game, from the fantastic music, the iconic characters, the ranges of kicks, punches, throws, environmental items that can be damaged and weapons that can be picked up and used. This is the perfect example of this genre, and one that to this day was never beaten.
There are so many fantastic, fun games on the Sega Mega Drive, and it's almost impossible to choose a favourite. But if I had to, it's got to be Gunstar Heroes by Treasure. The graphics are cartoonish, detailed, and superbly animated. It also has some crazy cool pseudo 3D effects. The music is also pretty epic and conveys the large-scale adventure. But most importantly, the gameplay is silky smooth. It's just easy to pick up and play and have a great time. It's like Contra plus Mega Man, but thankfully nowhere near as difficult. And as an added bonus, you can play it in 2-player co-op. What more could you possibly want from the greatest Sega Mega Drive game of all time?
My favourite Sega Mega Drive game of all time is Earthworm Jim. Was it a platform game? Was it a shoot 'em up? Was it a beat 'em up? Well, yes, all of these and a lot more besides. In an era where platform games were plentiful, games like Sonic the Hedgehog, Super Mario and plenty others were absolutely dominating the charts. Earthworm Jim managed to be very, very different. Goofy, full of character, hilarious, and really challenging. Earthworm Jim was something completely unlike anything we'd ever seen before, and would really ever see again. Whether he was shooting, flying, using himself as a lasso, or launching cows into space, it was class.
My favorite Sega Genesis or Sega Mega Drive game of all time has to be Streets of Rage 2, possibly the best beat-em-up game of all time, or even the best. I mean, this game was just fantastic, whether it was the music, the characters, the actual gameplay itself, the backgrounds, everything about this game just gelled so well. And the thing that made this game so iconic is obviously the music, and music is such a key component to making a game memorable, and Streets of Rage 2 will forever be memorable for a lot of reasons, but the thing that really stands out about this game for me, and possibly for a lot of people, was the music. It was just so good. That being said, I hope everyone is remaining retro. Take it easy. and catch you on the flip side.
Shadow Fox here, and one of my favorite games of all time on the Sega Mega Drive, aka the Sega Genesis, is TMNT Hyperstar Heist. It's a port of the SNES game Turtles in Time, and it's also being developed by Konami, which at the time they were in their bag doing. I also like that the game has different levels from Turtles in Time, and a different plot line than Turtles in Time, so nothing really feels the same. Also, but the only thing I really don't like about it is it's missing the screen throw, but that's besides the point. It's still a pretty good game on the Genesis. Give it a try, and you'll see the differences. Also, I like that the crane fights are easier, as he's not flickering off screen. Shadow Fox out, peace out, have a good time, and shout out to saberduelgaming for having me on this.
Most of the games are great, they are so good on the Genesis, on the Mega Drive. I've been asked by saberduelgaming, what's my favorite of all time? What's my favorite of all time? I do not know, I cannot say, but I pick one today. I pick one today. Sometimes I like to play with myself, sometimes invite round some friends, up to 9 players. I really enjoy the surfing, roller skating is fine, and skateboarding down a half pipe. I have to say my favourite event of them all is playing with my happy sack, sorry hacky sack.
California games, the greatest game of all!
Well, it is today. Ask me tomorrow. It could be Sonic, or Streets of Rage, or Micro Machines, or...
A few minutes later.
So there we have it, some of the best ever Sega Mega Drive or Genesis games of all time. I want to wish a special happy birthday to the Sega Mega Drive. Fantastic little console that should never be forgotten, and I want to wish a very special thank you to all of the people that took part in this video. These are genuinely some of the best YouTubers there are out there today, and I would heartily encourage you to check out the links below. I am going to put the links to all their channels, or in the case of the Fossilized Remains of Gaming, his Instagram channel, and I'd encourage you to check them out. Until next time, thanks for being here, and as always, take the high ground.